So I really messed up. I decided I was going to try to be fancy and install a beta version of the Mac Sequoia on my system. I was at Mac Sonoma. For those of you who know Mac and you have a newer one, you know these terms. I know better because I've been told never install beta, an essential device that you have. And that the iMac is my essential. I do have a MacBook Pro as well as kind of my backup and portable. But I installed it trying to be fancy because I wanted to see, ooh, all these new features. I'm really excited. Let's see, because I tend to be an early adopter, as some of you may know. But what ended up happening is it blew things up. So I started seeing error messages where I'd never seen them before, permission requests over and over again, and I lost access to a major application that I use for video editing. And that was a big deal. So I was like, yeah, after a couple of weeks of just leaving it as is, because I knew it was going to be hard to reverse, I decided I was going to make the effort to reverse it. And I looked for articles and I looked for ways to get this done, and it was very hard to find anything. But I found this one blog post that I thought, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to erase all content and settings, and I'm going to start from scratch and recover it using my time machine disk. But then when I tried to recover the system, it took hours to restore all this content. Then at the very last 15 to 18 minutes, it just got stuck. So I had to start over again after several hours of realizing it's not moving forward. There's something stuck. And I ended up trying again to reinstall. I tried a third time to reinstall. And I finally had to make the decision, okay, let me go ahead and just click the option that says recover using the beta version because that was the only option available to me. When I did that, it kind of went slow, but then ended up installing. And here's what I learned from all of this. Sometimes you have to listen to conventional wisdom. I knew better. It really actually, when you reframe things, you can come up with something more positive. I pretty much did a spring cleaning on my computer, not intentionally. Sometimes it's good to just kind of make a decision to do something completely different. That same day where I was on hold with my iMac, and couldn't use my normal system, I had a podcast interview with someone who I adore and who is really a powerhouse. And I wanted to be on her show, and I didn't want to cancel at the risk of being rescheduled. So I ended up it was about an hour or so before her show, and I created an alternative that I never would have explored had it not been for blowing this up. So blowing up my operating system did a couple of things. It allowed me to see a new way of doing something that I had not seen before. It allowed me to get really creative and to put together a recording system using my MacBook Pro and a camera that I hadn't been using because I hadn't even thought about using my Osbot as a webcam. I had a backup plan that I never would have even explored had it not been for me messing up. I was able to reconfigure things so that I can be more productive. So now, since I'm starting from scratch and rebuilding all my scenes, for instance, for Ecamm to do video, now I can do it clean. I know what each scene should look like. I don't have to go mess around and try to configure things and figure things out. It's all fresh and new and going to be laid out in a way that I can easily find what I need. So it's not all bad to sometimes mess with things a little bit, to test things out, to try things and to see what happens. It might feel bad at first. You might feel like it's a loss or a fail. But if you turn things around and look at what you got from that situation, look at the lessons you learned and the benefits that you took away, you might be surprised. So I leave you with this. Some things that may look like a fail could end up being a victory. It's all in how you see it and how you take the reins and run and move on to the next thing. Don't wallow in self-pity. Don't wallow in despair. But get up and figure out what's my next step. And guess what? The podcast turned out great. All right, that's it. Have a good one, y'all.